Hello! I know this isn't our usual format for a video, but this hasn't been a usual past few weeks, and I'm going to go into detail on that. So it started out with our clothes dryer died. I was doing a load of laundry and it just stopped. So I kind of had in mind that this was going to happen for a while. It sounded really strange. It's been on the way out for a while. If you follow me on Instagram, you already know this story, but Eddie and I had decided to go without a dryer for, well, as long as I can stand it. But figuring all this out has allowed me a lot of time to think. And I've been thinking about farming and the difficult parts of farming. And I think that the hardest part about dairy farming is the uncertainty of it. And I know that's broad, so I'll break it down.
This video is sponsored by Major Dairy AI Services Limited.
This past week has been particularly difficult because we have had 2 dead animals. So we had a cow that was perfectly healthy one day, and then she started to go down in milk, and within a day she was dead. So that was unfortunate. And we also had a bull calf stillborn, so he was born dead. So those are challenging things to go through because they're sudden, they're not certain, you weren't counting on it. Yes, you count on a few deaths as a farmer because that's how the cycle of life goes, but you never know when they're going to happen, and they snuck up on us, and it's always sad when death happens on the farm. So that's been one area that's been challenging. Another area is obviously the wetness we've been having. I think many surrounding areas have been having this super wet spring, and we were lucky enough to get our new seeding in, which we shared with you in the last video. We got that in early, and then it's rained. We do not have our corn in. It is the end of May, and it's getting a little stressful. Eddie is one to be even keel. He doesn't get too worried about things that we can't control, like the weather. It is what it is. We can't change it. So he also shared with me that he has been advised that it is better to wait it out until you can get the soil into an optimal quality than to just mud in the seeds and just plant through clumps of mud, because that can really affect your yield. Whereas waiting, you still get a good yield, but it just might not be as mature. And we're using our corn only for corn silage, so we use the whole plant, chop it up, feed it to the cows. We're not drying out any corn, so we have that to our advantage. Now, another thing that's been uncertain on our farm lately, it's been going on for 2 years. We haven't really shared this with you because it's just not good, but Eddie split from his brother's dairy farm, the family farm, 2 years ago. If you're new here, that's how we got started. We've been farming, Eddie and I, on our own for 2 years. With this transition and deal, we got a case skid steer, which was on this farm already because our farm housed the heifers for all of the family farm. So that was the skid steer that was used here. We got it, and I think it was a month after we started, the engine blew. That was a very costly, unexpected expense. And we were uncertain if we were going to be able to pay it and if we were going to be able to manage. But we pushed through, paid to rebuild the engine. I forget how long down the line. I guess about a year. I think it was just under a year later, the engine had problems again. And it was another $10,000 fix, and that hurt. You've probably noticed we now have a John Deere skid steer. We got a new skid steer, and we just finally sold the case skid steer last week. And what happens a couple days later? Our loader tractor engine troubles. So, you never know what's going to happen, and you just get comfortable, you just get certain about things, and then they're uncertain again. So right now we're mainly Eddie, but we're talking back and forth. We're trying to decide, do we I don't think the loader needs a full rebuild. It has something to do with gaskets in the engine. So we've kind of decided, we're gonna repair the loader tractor, because either way, when it's repaired, we can sell it. But that'll give us some time to tractor shop or make a decision if we're going to keep it. Eddie's buddy is a John Deere salesman. He sent us out a trial tractor that Eddie's been using for the last few days, and he really does like it. But it's just, do we make that decision to buy a new tractor? This one's used, but buy a new tractor when that wasn't in the plan, And Eddie told you just in this last video that
anything else that's going on in the future is probably just going to be small little concrete jobs here and there, maybe a little more yard space, updating a piece of equipment every once in a while. We'll keep you guys up to date with that stuff as the years go on, but that would probably be the type of things that we're going to do in the next 5 years.
But here we are a few days later and, you know, thinking about it. So having said all that, I'm not saying this for you to have pity on us whatsoever. And I'm sure that every business has these types of uncertainties and ups and downs and struggles. And as Eddie would say, that's life. We're waiting for the field to dry out. We have an untiled cornfield left to do, so we have quite a bit of waiting to do. We're hoping that it stays dry for the next few days. Today is Tuesday and we're hoping to plant on Saturday. We're gonna get haylage off on Friday, so stay tuned for that. So while we wait for this field work, come along with us and see what we've been up to. So we've got you guys off the farm today and out at the lake. So here we are at my parents' cottage. Eddie's gonna pressure wash the roof. I'm gonna sweep up the deck here and do some work in the flower beds. The kids are gonna play. It's gonna be a good day. Right, okay. Awesome. You can do it again, or you can start playing something different.
My ball went under the...
Yeah, your dad rammed right through the screen. I think it was open. Also, I heard like bang.
Okay, so here's the cottage from the outside. It's kind of unique looking. There's basically two parts to it. This was the original cottage, and then this was a shed. And they've kind of combined the two into one with this sunroom area here. So you can see on the roof, especially in this part here, that my dad pressure washed this part, and then that obviously is not done. You can see the line. But we have a gas pressure washer, so Eddie volunteered to come and do that job because it'll just go so much faster. So he's gonna get the roof all clean, and it's even dirtier on the other side because of these trees up here. He's gonna start on the other side, he just told me. So I told you it was worse. It's like moss covered. It actually does look kind of nice, kind of enchanting. There it is. It's the cottage.
Look at
Who's winning?
me. Paxton.
Are you good at it, Paxton?
Kind of, yeah. Last 3 games.
Have you played it before?
Yeah, no.
Ants in the pants.
Sucky.
So my parents previously had a cottage up north, not northern Ontario, but more north Ontario near Parry Sound, and it was about a 3-hour drive to get there. And my parents originally, when they bought the lot, they were about a 90-minute drive away, and since then myself and Eddie have moved a 3-hour distance, and they moved probably about 2.5 hours. And for us, like with traffic door to door, it ended up being like 5 hours because, you know, kids in the car need to stop and then add traffic. So we didn't get up there very much, and Eddie hadn't been up in, I think, 3 years. So last year they made the decision to buy here, which is 20 minutes from us. This is a man-made lake, so it's controlled by a dam. It's a bit different than a natural lake up north. We're very grateful that my parents did this. They're retirement age and they want to be spending a lot of time at the cottage, and this way we can visit them a lot. We're very blessed to have this opportunity, and so that's why we're kind of, we try to chip in and help where we can.
We got some 2-year-old corn seed worth a lot of money. We want to know if it's still good. Look at this. Look who's gonna drive the tractor. Okay, we're gonna teach Lauren how to drive a tractor.
Lesson 1.0.
And I also didn't get her milk collected. I did something wrong on the robot screen. Whoop.
Yeah, there's a few springs there.
About the same.